boundaries, including ones that are beneficial, whether one is Mormon or non-Mormon. This could be described, and you may have heard of this before in these terms, but as the ex-Mormon adolescents. As adolescents emerge into adulthood by transitioning the base of their boundaries from trust of authority figures to experience, so do departing Mormons. Furthermore, an adolescent who experiences strong expressions of authority and dominance in his or her life may try to assert independence by defying boundaries. Similarly, out of feelings of hurt, betrayal, and anger, a departing Mormon may be tempted to engage in previously prohibited behaviors in an effort to assert independence rather than as a function of critical reflection and intentional choice. This may result in engaging in risky behaviors that produce unwanted results. And one strategy to address this is to actually create an inventory of your personal values and use this to inform your boundaries. So this comes from critically reflecting on what is important to you. Is it love? Is it service? Is it excitement? Is it joy? And then looking at, even listing them all out like on a piece of paper and then using that those are your personal scriptures. Those are your values. That's what's important to you. Those are the standards that you use to apply as you determine what you want to do. This can even come from writing your own articles of faith, so to speak, by revising the first sentence of each article from "we believe" to "I believe." Another task is to face the fear of leaving the pack. If you have spent significant time as a Mormon, you have likely internalized the belief that if you leave, you will not be happy. Indeed, you may even have moments that resemble panic as fears are triggered related to your ability to make it on your own. These fears can be intensified by memories of what you learned regarding the eternal consequences of leaving. Even though you may not intellectually believe in such eternal consequences, such as spirit prison or the separation from loved ones in the afterlife, your body maintains emotional memory. And things that are associated with what you previously believed will trigger physiological responses inside you. Or they can, at least. So, how we treat fear is to actually reality test it. So, using logical thought, rational thinking skills, grounding yourself in the five senses, such things as this can be very helpful for you in facing any fears. Actually, first determining if they're valid. That's the first process. We use rational thought to determine if there's some truth to this fear. And by doing this, you may actually find there is no truth. Probably most of the time you'd find that. And then if there is something valid, then you can determine what effective action you want to take. Another strategy for this task is to remind yourself why you left. When experiencing triggers, when things trigger your pain about leaving, remind yourself that you left for a reason. You may find yourself looking back with a romanticized vision of how things were, like a romantic relationship. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, I think is the saying. To paraphrase the famous psychologist Virginia Satir, when it comes to relationships, most of the things we're afraid of losing, we never really had. This rings true in my personal story. I was so afraid to leave the community of the Mormon community because of the loss of love, friends, and those kinds of things. And then when I thought back in critical reflection, I thought, well, what am I thinking? They don't love me. That's why I'm in pain. They don't fully love me. So I think that this one can really be important because it can provide you with an accurate picture of what's going on in those moments of sadness or grief or loss. So you can honor, I'm sad that I really missed this part, and there was all this other stuff. There was this, and this, and this. And then decide what you want to do. So, whoops, I changed the title. I didn't change the title there. I should say social relationships. But, so the task is to deal with conflict from family and friends. There will be blood. That's true we're human beings. So close Mormon family members and friends may find your departure threatening, as they have been conditioned, as you have, to associate non-activity and non-membership with severe consequences. To cope with these feelings, they may engage in aggressive or passive-aggressive responses to you. For example, they may express disapproval of you and your choice frequently, including reminding you of eternal consequences of leaving. In desperation, they may also reinforce the Mormon concept of family separation in the afterlife due to disobedience by withdrawing from you in the present. When not physically withdrawing from you, family members or friends may emotionally withdraw. This occurs when one's vibrant and/or in-depth conversation decreases or ceases altogether. This is likely perpetuated by a lack of parties' ability to actively listen and assertively communicate. This withdrawal, whether initiated by you or them, can leave you with a sense of isolation, loneliness, and even betrayal. So what do we do about it? That includes when relationships will continue, assertively communicate your reaction to others' responses to your departure. This is called ouch. Lots of ouches. When something happens to you, you say it. Ouch. Ouch. It's how we get to know each other's boundaries. Because Mormon social structure is organized by authority and the dynamics of commandment and obedience, exposure to assertive conflict resolution is minimal. Differences are discouraged and resolved by assimilation, as the belief that peace and prosperity come from being the same is perpetuated, rather than appreciating diversity and creating collaborative resolutions. Simply put, we don't have the skills for this. We were taught that you're the same, to be the same, and that's how it all works out. Because of this, as you face this juncture, it then becomes of great importance to learn to meet your needs that are in ways that are respectful to you and to them, which can be very hard. To do this, you may study topics of assertive communication and autonomy and apply such skills. Another strategy is to redefine intimacy. Recognize that though you may have learned that intimacy comes from sharing common interests, another layer of intimacy is created when those who are different share their mutual desire for connection while maintaining their differences. Indeed, one may argue that this is the deepest intimacy achieved, one that is based on loving, learning about, and accepting each other for who we are and not who we want the other to be. The other task is to adjust to life as a minority. So, this is big. As you leave, your changing perspective, accompanied by any hurt feelings and disillusionment, may make it difficult for you to spend time with Mormon friends and family. Where you once felt belonging and camaraderie based on shared beliefs and lifestyles, you may now feel alienation and isolation. In addition, living as a Mormon, you likely surround yourself, whether consciously or unconsciously, by other Mormons. Depending on your geographic location, the Mormon presence in your life may extend beyond friends and family and include those in power, such as employers, community leaders, politicians. Thus, by giving up your Mormon identity, you may actually be giving up a lot of privilege. So strategies to deal with this include seeking out kindred spirits. The need for community is fundamental to the human experience, and you will likely need to build your social support. Do this by finding like-minded individuals through various organizations and common interests, while building on the supportive relationships that you have. Ally yourself with other minorities. Building relationships with other minorities can provide you with a sense of community and empowerment as you use your skills, voice, and support voice to support others' rights and wellness. If you so desire, this strategy may also keep you connected to foundational Christian beliefs, such as love and service for those who are marginalized. Another strategy is to appreciate the benefits of your diversity. So this includes like serious critical reflection on what do I get from not being a Mormon anymore? It can be easy, and especially in initial stages, to focus on what you're losing, but again, kind of reminding why you're leaving and then what you're getting can be beneficial. Another strategy is to recognize your similarities. It is human nature that differences are often exaggerated. As a result, we may contribute to our own alienation by overemphasizing our differences with our Mormon friends and family members. To bridge the gap between you and Mormon family members and friends, validate and respect your differences while focusing on your similarities. This one's one of my favorites, but it is the strategy is to increase your safety by working for your rights instead of fighting against others. The conflict we face with friends and family is usually perpetuated by their efforts to change us. Similarly, as we leave Mormonism, misunderstanding, judgment, hostility, or withdrawal from Mormon relatives and associates can threaten our sense of safety. As a result, we may become trapped in unproductive interactions in which both parties struggle to create and maintain safety by controlling and changing the other person. Because we have no control over others' choices and action, this approach leaves us set up to consistently experience disappointment, powerlessness, and hurt. Furthermore, both parties justifiably feel a sense of violation, and consequently negative feelings and unhelpful defensive behavior intensify in a cyclical fashion, feeding off of each other. Take the energy that you would spend on trying to change the other to make things safe, to changing yourself. This includes increasing your capacity to handle difficult situations and assertively meet your needs. This also will include learning to identify, express, and maintain relational boundaries. Boundaries are huge in all of this because we grew up in, I see the collective we, please forgive me if that doesn't include you, but we grew up in a culture where it was, because it was conformist and authoritarian, our boundaries as individuals have been violated in various instances, and we actually have learned that that's okay. And so a lot of what's happening is there's pushback, and we're saying, no, that's not okay, I'm not okay with that, and because that's not the rule, we're being disruptive, when actually we're just protecting ourselves. So the last strategy I'm going to address here is to recognize your kinship to the world. When I left Mormonism, I feared disconnection from my people as they were. And I felt such a sense of loss, aloneness, and fear of what my departure may mean. Something that I did not perceive while in my grief is that there was an entire world of people that could not only fill that gap, but even surpass the breadth of connection I once felt. This occurred as my perspective of my identity transitioned from being a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to a member of humanity.